So question 6, solve 5 sine x minus 4 equal to 2 cos 2x between 0 and 2 pi. Now that bit's important, but we'll come back to that at the end. So our answer is going to need to be in radians. So what do we need to do here? Well, first of all, we want to get this whole expression in terms of sine. So we need to think of a way to get rid of this cos term. So what you're going to do is you can go up to your expressions, your trigonometric formulas, and we can choose the best one. Well, the only one that has only sine terms is this one here. So we want to substitute this equation back into here. So this then becomes 5 sine x minus 4 equal to 2, and then you substitute this in, so 1 minus 2 sine squared x. Okay, back to the question. So now that you've done that, you can start to simplify this. So this then just becomes 2 minus 4 sine squared x equal, and then this is 5 sine x minus 4. Then you bring this all over to one side, so this becomes 4 sine squared x plus 5 sine x minus 4, 2 over becomes minus 6 equals 0. Okay, now when you have it in this form, you want to factorize it. And it's a bit of a tricky factorization. It requires a bit of thought. But if you get really stuck, you can always use the quadratic formula, because that will work when your components will be a, b, and c, and you can work through that. But let's just have a crack at trying to solve it ourselves. But what are the factors of 6? So they're 1 and 6, and give us a difference of 5. It's going to be 2 and 3. But there's this 4 term here. So how do we make peace with that? Well, we want to have a difference of 5 here. Okay. So what numbers can we multiply one of these numbers by to give us a difference of 5? So if you just try the 4, so if you did 4 times 2, that would be 8. The difference between 3 and 8 is 5. Yeah, so that would work. So we can just put this in. So that would be 4 sine x, and that would be sine x. And we're going to want the 4 to be multiplied by the 2. So the 2 is going to be over there, and then the 3 is going to be there, and we want the 8 to be positive minus 3, so that's going to be minus plus. But again, you could do the quadratic formula if you got really stuck, and you'd get a similar answer. And now we need to solve these for x, or sine x even. So sine x is equal to 3 over 4, and then sine x is equal to negative 2. Now this is going to have no solution, so you can bin that value. That's just because the sine of x only goes between plus 1 and negative 1, i.e. not 2, so there's no solution for that part. Okay, so now we need to look at what this value, now you could convert it straight to radians, or you could work in degrees. I'm going to work in degrees because it's just slightly more steps, so I'm going to show you how to do it. But if you just converted your calculator to radians, or had it in radians, then you could just work straight. But I'll just show you how to do it in degrees in this example. So you work out sine x, so sine x is equal to, or work out x even, sorry. So x is equal to sine minus 1, 3 over 4, which is sine 3 over 4 equal to 48, equal to 48.59 degrees. Okay, now I need to look at our quadrants. So it's positive in the first quadrant, and it'll be positive in the sine quadrant. So that means it's going to be 180 minus x. So 180 minus 48.59 equals 1. So 180 minus x is equal to 131.41. But so these are our two answers, but we're not finished yet because we still want them in radians. So how to get from degrees to radians? Well, you multiply by pi over 180. So do that for both values. So x is going to be, so we'll just work it out. So it's going to be 48.59 times pi over 180 equal to 48.59 times shift pi over 180 equal to 0.848, and then the next one is going to be 131.41 times pi over 180, and that is equal to, we can just change this, 31.41 equals 2.29, so 2.29. Okay, so there are your two final answers. So where'd you get the marks in this expression, in this question? Well, you get 1 mark for substituting in the right trig equation, and then you get your next one for expressing your equation in quadratic form. Then you get your next one for factorizing correctly. Then you get your next one for getting your values of sine x. And then you get your final mark for solving for x here. So that is your 1, 2, 3. There's your 1, 2, 3. Have I missed one? Solve for. No, 5 marks.